for your body, your mind, your spirit. It's time to talk about proper exercise, stress relief, eating well, and supplementation to help. Get ready to take charge of your health because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garko. Welcome to the show.
And welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in to LTN today. Hope you're having a good day, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing, and hope what you're doing is being done safely. Wearing your mask, social physical distancing, being careful, avoiding large crowds, and not getting on a motorcycle and going to Sturgis where there'll be 250,000 people. I just find that, I reported on that yesterday. I still find that astonishing. I will say this to you, and I'm going on air. I'm on air and I'm on record. We are at the beginning As many of you know, I speak from firsthand experience, unfortunately. And no, cancer is not something that happens to somebody else. It happened to you, can happen to anybody, even when you're healthy, even when you're doing the right things, because cancer is so complicated and there's so many variables in play that will cause the genes to express for cancer. So it is, yeah, it's challenging. So I wanted to give Reggie a heads up. I may lose you on that stream, Reggie. It looks like this computer is updating without my permission. So
Switch out Katie's wiring. So I had the same problem. Kind of went out on me too. Oh, when I get it up, I'll send you another code.
yeah, could very well. Am I still up or not on the stream? Do you
Oh,
know?
it kicked me out when I had to switch out her wires.
I see. So it's frozen. I'll just click out of this then. So yesterday, in talking about cancer, I set it up by sharing with you on a, talking about cancer on more on you have to remember what we're dealing with here when we talk about cancer. And this whole business, remember we were talking yesterday, and this is archived, about this notion of people have this idea that, you know, it's sugar, and that sugar is bad news. Well, in some ways it certainly is. And what I tried to do yesterday was explain metabolically why it is that sugar becomes so implicated in cancer, and talking about cell metabolism and this whole notion of cell respiration, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, right? Remember? And then oxidation for phosphorylation. Cancer, in order for it to survive, it relies primarily on the first step, the first pathway, which is glycolysis. And glycolysis only produces 2 energy ATP. That's it. If you go through the whole process of cell respiration, you end up with 36 molecules of ATP. So, what's the implication? The implication is that in order for cancer cells to survive, they need that energy. They need the ATP to stay alive. So they only stay in glycolysis, and they keep cranking on, which is rather a primitive pathway. It's not very elegant. It's only creating 2 molecules of ATP. So it keeps churning that glycolysis process over and over again. And that's what it does. And so that's where sugar becomes implicated here. That's why you hear people talking about, oh, it's the sugar, it's the sugar. Uh, it's feeding, the cancer. Metabolically, that's true. Metabolically, that's true. Cancer is just more complicated than just sugar, right? For sure. So we're going to get into it a little bit more today. I started yesterday, and I referenced Otto Warburg yesterday, and he came up with the idea that cancer is a metabolic disease. So when Katie gets back into her studio, I'll have her get you up to date on how to contact the show, and I'll take your calls, questions, and we'll do this and see what we can learn and how we can better ourselves and prevent cancer from taking us out. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. It's me, your immune system. I'm always hard at work defending you against the many disease-causing viruses and bacteria that you are exposed to every day. But sometimes I need help to defeat the bad bugs. Luckily, our friends at Kyolic have come to the rescue. Kyolic has 2 super immune-enhancing supplements, Kyolic Immune Formula 103 and Kyo Green Harvest Blend Immune Defense. Kyo Green Harvest Blend is a power-packed blend of organic and naturally sourced grasses, ancient grains, fruits, veggies, herbal extracts, and spirulina in a fast-dissolving drink mix for a quick and easy way to support immunity. Kyolic Immune Formula 103 combines immune-boosting nutrients with aged garlic extract. Aged garlic extract has been clinically shown to support a healthy immune response and reduce both the duration and severity of cold and flu symptoms. Help me protect you with Kyolic supplements and nutritional drink mixes to fortify your immune health today. Available at fine natural health retailers.
Celsius is a fitness drink which is clinically proven to function. How? As a thermogenic, Celsius proprietary MetaPlus blend accelerates metabolism, increasing your body's ability to burn fat and calories. There are only 2 ways a body burns fat: through increased heart rate and our increased body temperature, thermogenesis. Drinking Celsius and then going into motion is double dipping. You're accelerating the burn and the results are even faster. Celsius is your ultimate fitness partner. No high fructose corn syrup, no aspartame, no preservatives, no artificial colors or flavors. 100% of 7 essential vitamins. Proven in 6 published university studies. How does it work? Celsius proprietary MetaPlus formula, including green tea with EGCS, ginger, and guarana seed, turns on thermogenesis, a process that boosts your body's metabolic rate. Drinking Celsius prior to fitness activities is proven to energize, accelerate metabolism, burn body fat and calories. Invest in yourself. Drink Celsius. Look for us at www.celsius.com.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by American Biotech Labs, your daily immune system support. Celsius, live fit. CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in today. Talking about this topic of cancer and what can we do to address it, prevent it. What do you do once you're infected? What do you do subsequently? It turns out that nutrition overarches all three of nutrition prior to cancer, nutrition during cancer, and nutrition subsequent or post treatment. And I, you know, as I have thought about it, it's not the only variable, but it is a variable that has great influence on whether or not you will get cancer, how you will do once you have it, and how you will proceed subsequent to treatment. As I said yesterday and shared this with you, a lot of people think, a lot of people believe that cancer is mostly genetically driven, and that's just not true. We know that cancer is more a function of environmental factors, diet and lifestyle, and that about it would depending on who you read, and that everybody has a different view. The numbers vary a little bit. Some say between 80 to 90% of cancer is caused by environmental factors. That's pretty extraordinary. Think about that for a second. 80 to 90%. And one of the environmental factors, environmental means not just the environment literally, although the environment literally is a variable because of the various toxins that are in the environment. Dioxin, I mean, there's thousands of these chemicals that are potentially carcinogenic. And you, so much of what happens with cancer is either within your span of influence and not, because some of those environmental factors you can't control. You can't control what uh, carcinogenic chemicals are being pumped into the air, the water, the soil, the food chain. You can educate yourself and figure out, what you need to do. So I'm going to put a little bit of attention today on nutrition and cancer because that's something that resonates with people, and I can get into some of the more technical things about cancer as well, uh, either later today or the next time I talk about it this week. So it turns out too now that cancer is in a real sense a wasting disease, um, and you get this elevating basal metabolism, and oftentimes a reducing, reduces your appetite. Net effect is that 40% or more of cancer patients actually die from malnutrition and not from the cancer. Nutrition support then is intended to address this issue of malnutrition. It's not intended necessarily to cure cancer. And that's where people get a little confused. When you're doing extensive chemo, to say that they're stressors is an understatement. And they will induce malnutrition. If you notice, you look at cancer patients, do you notice how gaunt they are? And when I was going through it, I was on air. People saw me. We have the videotapes of those shows. There's a reason why that happened. It's much of it is inspired by, induced by the treatment itself. And if the treatment's aggressive, and mine was aggressive, um, you're going to have some difficult moments. one of the things that can happen with chemotherapy is that you can develop what's called mucositis, oral mucositis, where you get these large lesions in your mouth, and it even hurts to drink water. You have no ambition to eat, none, zero. I lost about 30, 35 pounds. So the nutrition is there to prevent the malnutrition. Standard intensive care unit, they have these formulas, parental formulas, where you get intravenous feeding, and that can help. But you got to be careful. They're pumping glucose into you because, as metabolically speaking, that's going to serve to feed the cancer cells. So one purpose of nutrition then is to prevent malnutrition during cancer treatment. In fact, I'll give you other reasons and other functions of nutrition as it relates to cancer. LTN, coast to coast and globally.
Wayne Elliott here to tell you about my experience with Strauss Heart Drops over the past 20 years. The Strauss Heart Drops saved me back then and changed my life forever. It's hard to describe how invigorating it is when you increase your blood flow everywhere. The Heart Drops have proven to dissolve plaque from arteries, veins, and vessels caused from cholesterol that can restrict or block our blood flow, our body's most important function. I was able to avoid open heart surgery, as was my father, and instead cleared our arteries painlessly and without chemical drugs, which, by the way, do not claim to remove any plaque or increase blood flow otherwise. Strauss Heart Drops work, I can assure you. No contraindications with pharma drugs. Strauss Heart Drops are safe, and Strauss guarantees your satisfaction with a money-back guarantee. So you can't go wrong and certainly have nothing to lose. If you've had open heart surgery, angina, diabetes, low energy, cold hands and feet, or grayish-blue skin or lips, Strauss Heart Drops are for you. Available online at powermall.com and straussnaturals.com. I promise you won't be sorry.
1250 WHNZ. Online at WHN.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Form Essentials, makers of the sleep aid Solace. Yerba Prima, pioneers in internal cleansing. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Here's a way to get in touch with the show. We're talking about cancer this week, and I'm talking now about nutrition and how it's implicated. And it can serve many purposes, and one of the purposes that it can do is it can prevent malnutrition once you're in treatment. But nutrition is also implicated in sort of a different way here. It's what you eat that can cause it. So, things that you'll need to prevent. Katie's here to tell you how to make contact with the show. You may have some questions or comments.
Yes, you can give us a call at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK. You can also email Dr. Garko personally. His email is drgarko@letstalknutrition.com. If you want to watch the show, you can do that on Facebook or YouTube. You can watch live shows and the previous aired shows, and you can watch or listen to the show on letstalknutrition.com or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Thank you, Katie. And so, nutritionally speaking, there are foods that you want to avoid. Diet becomes very, very important in the prevention of cancer. It can prevent malnutrition once you're in treatment, but the idea here is to engage in prevention. So, as we know, cancer cells require dramatically more glucose to survive and proliferate than do your other cells, normal cells. That's because, as I've told you now maybe 3 or 4 times, that cancer cells run on a primitive energy metabolism and anaerobic glycolysis that burns sugar without oxygen. So it only produces 2 ATP molecules, which are the energy molecules that cancer needs. So it's not very many. So it has to keep doing it over and over again. Foods to avoid. I mentioned them yesterday. These commercially farmed meats that, especially when the animals that were were slaughtered were fed, foods that were laced with uh, chemicals, laced with different kinds of chemicals and even drugs that help them grow faster, get bigger, and whatever. That is a bad idea. And then smoked or processed meats, dairy products high in fat, a big consumption of that, not a good idea. The grains, the refined grains, not the whole grains, the refined grains, where everything's bleached, everything's white, white flour, white, everything's white, white rice, and so on. Pasta, the refined floured pasta, uh, hydrogenated fats and oils, junk foods that I talk about all the time, the artificial colored and or flavored foods. Those are bad news. Food dyes, stabilizers, residual pesticides, estrogenic chemicals that get into the food. Then even how they package the food, wrapping it, coating it in polymerized carbon and silicon, uh, that those wrappings, all that. Then people will microwave their food with those plastic on it or in a plastic container. You should never, ever, ever do that. Um, Nitrites, you'll find that in bacon, hams, lunch meats, sausages, and so on, will cause cancer in 100% of lab animals at 2 ppm. Doesn't take much. You want to stay away from those foods. Aspartame, cancer, a lot of research on that in food. Yesterday I mentioned one of the last things I said to you was that they did a study with women, 80,326 women, and in that study, women who consumed the highest amount of lactose, that's from dairy, they had a 44% greater risk for all types of invasive ovarian cancer compared to those women who consumed the lowest amount, which was three or fewer servings per month. That's amazing. So these high fat dairy products, not a good idea on a consistent basis. So food, you can see, can be implicated in preventing cancer by avoiding certain foods. And then it's implicated, nutrition's implicated by eating the right foods so that it does what? One, keep your immune system vital and keep your nutritional status up. And the immune system becomes important when you're immune compromised. Now you're more of a sitting target for these cancer cells to grow. You have no defense. It's critical then in the prevention of cancer to eat a diet that is proper. There are even cancer, they call them, they have different names for these diets, but cancer type diet. And it's usually very much and loaded with plants, right? It's a plant-based diet. Lots of antioxidants, a lot of these phytonutrients that just seem to keep cancer in check. And if you know that you're genetically predisposed and you look at your family and you see that members of the family, you see a pattern of a certain type of cancer, and maybe you have not been tested for it, you should probably presume or assume that maybe you have that gene as well until you get tested and confirm or disconfirm that. And it's even more important then to keep these nutritional principles in mind. Nutrition will improve the quality of your life and the quantity of your life once you are diagnosed with cancer and going through treatment, and again, post-treatment. They will improve your chances of complete remission We know this. Brett, you know, I never use the phrase "beat cancer." That's just that's something I just don't say because I don't. I am not so sure. When we come back from break, I'll give you my metaphor about battling cancer. You have to keep the internal terrain of your body in a condition that is unfavorable to cancer. Moreover, you have to eat in a way and live in a way that you don't cause the genes to express for cancer. So you can see how nutrition is very much implicated in all of this. You are listening and watching LTN, coast to coast and globally.
Are you concerned with the change of seasons? Are you looking for a product to support a healthy immune system? Then you must be looking for Oreganol P73, made by North American Herb and Spice, who are a leader in the manufacturing of natural dietary supplements. Oreganol P73 is not your normal oregano. No, Oreganol P73 is made from oregano that grows wild at 10,000 feet above sea level in the mountains of the Mediterranean. That's why it's such a powerful support for your immune system. Try Oreganol P73 today and discover what millions already know during this winter season. To learn more about Oreganol P73, visit your local health food store or our website, oreganol.com. That's oreganol.com. Act now and feel better today with Oreganol P73.
Have you experienced the wisdom of nature with Zyflamend Whole Body from New Chapter? Zyflamend is a 10-herb blend that delivers 3 health benefits. First, Zyflamend is an herbal approach to pain relief, helping to soothe minor pain or soreness. Second, Zyflamend is a joint supplement with time-tested herbs to support joint function and flexibility. And the third benefit, Zyflamend supports the body's healthy inflammation response, something that's essential for maintaining whole body health. Zyflamend is New Chapter's clinically tested blend of 10 remarkable herbs, including pure and potent turmeric, ginger, and green tea. Zyflamend is non-GMO, project verified, gluten-free, and 100% vegetarian. New Chapter is a leader in supplement quality. Every ingredient, every product, every time. Discover Zyflamend, New Chapter's #1 selling multi-herbal. Zyflamend is made with ginger for occasional pain relief after exercise. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The latest trend to hit the store shelves has the whole country buzzing. Cannabidiol, or CBD, might just be the greatest discovery of our generation, and it comes from a plant that is not so new, agricultural hemp. Yes, after 70 years of prohibition and misunderstanding, hemp is back to help you stay healthy and balanced. Growing research is showing that we have a lot to learn from the remarkable hemp plant. Nutrient-rich products like Plus CBD Oil's Total Plant Complex concentrated products provide broad-spectrum nutrition, including fatty acids, plant sterols, cannabinoids, terpenes, and naturally occurring vitamin E. From seed to shelf, all Plus CBD Oil products provide the highest quality hemp-derived CBD products available and are offered in a variety of delivery systems and flavors to suit your needs. Ask your local independent health food store about Plus CBD Oil products by CV Sciences today and learn more about the CBD evolution at pluscbdoil.com. That's pluscbdoil.com.
More information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garka, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garka, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Kyolic, aging makes the finest garlic truly odorless. Celsius, live fit. Irwin Naturals, premium vitamins and supplements. 25 years of gold standard supplements. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
Nutrition is a first-line strategy in the prevention of cancer, during treatment, and after post-treatment. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. It overarches the whole narrative on cancer. It's a critical and essential component. You can't talk about cancer without talking about nutrition. You just can't. So, not only will it help reduce your chance for recurrence or remission, it also reduces the reduces the chances for recurrence, but increases increases the chances for remission. Get myself straightened out there, and that's what's always on your mind as a cancer patient. Is it going to go into remission? And once it does, will it recur? And so this business about beating cancer, I don't, in my talks and in things that I write and articles and whatnot, I don't use that phrase, beating cancer. Here's how I think about it. Cancer, and using a boxing metaphor, cancer is like a 15-round, old school, 15-round world title fight. You know that you're going to get into the ring with a very formidable and deadly opponent. You know that going in. The odds of you knocking that opponent out, you know, from watching all the tapes and whatnot, not very likely because the opponent is so formidable. So you want to climb into that ring. You don't want to get killed, and you want to survive. But you might not win the fight. What am I getting at? At the end of 15 rounds, if you can end up with a draw, it's a draw. That's a good day. You can get out of that. You didn't die. You can get out of that ring and go on. What you hope for is that your opponent doesn't ask for a rematch. The draw is good. You kept it at bay. You survived. Did you beat it? Well, I'm not so sure about that. And so, just for me, now some people, and I've seen commercials on TV where this one young man who went going through cancer, I think he's sitting on his front porch, and he says, "I beat it. I beat it." And every time I watch that commercial, I cringe. And I'm thinking, how do you know that, man? Just because it's in remission doesn't mean it won't return. Using a military metaphor, sometimes the enemy will retreat, and it's strategic for it to retreat. But it doesn't mean the enemy won't return. So what I'm getting at is attitude, how you think about this process, how you think about what the disease is. Make no mistake about it. To say that this disease is deadly is an understatement. This is a disease, this is one of nature's horrific, horrendous mistakes. Cancer is lethal. Lethal doesn't even describe it. I sat in a chemo room for 3 months every Monday, 4 hours every Monday. The things I saw in that room, suffering, let me tell you, this is nothing to mess with. And you have to find a way to increase your odds of not getting it, and once getting it, surviving it, and once surviving it, not causing it to recur. And I think nutrition is a big player in all of that. Go to Steubenville, Ohio. Bob is in Steubenville. It's always nice to talk with him. Bob, welcome to the show. It's great to have you back on.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a 7-year survivor of cancer, and I'm the only one left in my family. My brother and my sister both died from a form of cancer. My brother was brain cancer, and my sister was pancreatic cancer. Me, I had colon, and it tried to get me. But they took out my appendix, my gallbladder, and a softball piece off my liver, and I'm free of it now. And it's going to have to really come back and get me now. Because I'm on top of it.
Well, first of all, thank you for calling and sharing this. I know it's not easy to talk about it sometimes. And it's good for people to hear others who have gone through it. Listening just to what that 1 minute description of your family, people in your family who have died from cancer and what you've gone through. I get up every day. It's always in the back of my mind. I don't let it dominate. But you know as well as I do, that's why I never say I beat it. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I just say that I got in a ring with it and it was a draw, and I'm hoping the opponent doesn't ask for a rematch. That's how I see it, Robert.
Yeah. I feel the same way on that. Mm-hmm. You just never know.
You just never know. May I ask how old you are?
I'm 70.
You're 70. Yeah. And when did you go through all of this?
7 years ago in Indianapolis.
Well, you're doing pretty good. You're 7 years out.
Yeah.
How or in what ways, Robert? Go ahead. Express yourself. Go ahead.
The way we discovered that I had it was the fact that I couldn't catch anything solid. And they took out 5 inches of my colon because it was plugged. And they found 35 polyps, and some were cancerous.
Yeah.
And they showed it. They showed it to me. It would look like a loaf of bread, kind of. It was a round roll, and it had all kinds of things coming out of it.
Yeah, it's ugly. I'm going to talk about cancer again this week. Please stay tuned. I'd like you to call me back on that day this week. We'll let you know. I'll ask Katie when I'm available again. I'll talk about part 3 on this. I would like to have you come back on and talk. There's a lot of questions I'd like to ask you, and I'm grateful that you called. Congratulations. We'll be back.
The ever-increasing stress and toxicity we are exposed to from our environment, diets, and lifestyles make internal cleansing a necessary part of a good health regimen. Founded in 1980, Yerba Prima was the first company to launch a whole-body internal cleansing kit. Since that time, they have continued to develop and manufacture a complete range of all-natural, high-quality fiber and internal cleansing products. By using all-natural psyllium fiber and no harmful stimulant laxatives, all Yerba Prima fiber and internal cleansing products can be used over a long period of time to ensure optimal health and regularity. With nearly 30 years dedicated to all-natural cleansing products, it's easy to see why Yerba Prima is a leader in the fiber and cleansing products category. Learn more at yerbaprima.com, YERBAPRIMA.com, or visit your local health retailer. Yerba Prima, pioneer in internal cleansing products.
The proceeding.
LetsTalkNutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garka, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garka, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garco, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garco, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garco, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.
Statements made during this broadcast regarding products or the claims made about specific products have not been evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Products and treatments discussed are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Make your physician aware of all nutritional supplements used and immediately notify your physician if you have any health concern or undiagnosed sign or symptom. Let's Talk Nutrition is a health talk show that features scientists, authors, nutrition specialists, personal trainers, holistic healers, and experts in traditional, natural, and integrative medicine. Listen for a chance to win daily prizes and follow Let's Talk Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition or on Twitter at LTN Radio. It's time for some inspiration. Tune in to get fit and healthy. It's time to talk about nutrition. Nutrition for your body, your mind, your spirit. It's time to talk about proper exercise, stress relief, eating well, and supplementation to help. Get ready to take charge of your health because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garco. Welcome to the show.
And welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Hope you're having a good day wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show and whatever you may be doing. Jim Lavelle is our guest in this hour, and Jim has been on the show a number of times. I always enjoy having him on. In that first hour, that was the second installment of a brief tutorial on cancer. Do part 3 this week. Thursday, we'll do it again. And I asked Bob, who called in that last block, to call back again on Thursday. Katie talked with him. He's a cancer survivor. He's 7 years out. He had 2 family members that he lost to cancer. When you hear people talk about it the way he just did, it gives you it's not in the abstract, right? He even described to you, they even showed him when they removed part of his colon, they showed him what that looked like. And it's as I told you, it's a dreadful, insidious, unrelenting, unforgiving disease. And it doesn't play fair. It does not do that metaphor that I used, the boxing metaphor. He seemed to agree with it. I have never said I have beaten cancer, and I'll never say that. And as I'll say it one more time, it's a 15-round world title fight. You're getting into a ring with a killer. You know you can't knock this killer out. You know that already going into it. You're trying to get into that ring and you want to survive. And at the end of 15 rounds, and what you want the referee to say, it's a draw. That means you survived it. And then what you hope for is that the opponent doesn't ask for a rematch. That's how I see it. Because as Robert said, you just never know. And you got to be humble. And as I have written and as I've given in my speeches and talks when I'm invited to talk on this topic, my experience with cancer was cosmically humbling in every way, shape, and form. We'll talk some more about that. Jim Lavelle is my guest. Always like having him on. He's got interesting things to say, does interesting things. His work is useful, helps a lot of people. And it had been a while since I chatted with him. And he's out there on that left coast. James, welcome back. I trust you are safe, you are well, and doing all right.
I sure am. How are you
Good.
doing?
Good, James. Can't hear him.
It's brave new world, right? Out here on the left coast.
Yeah. Tell the audience, I know a lot of people are familiar with you, but what part of California do you live in?
I'm in Southern California, so an area called Mission Viejo. So I'm down in Orange County.
Mission Viejo. I am familiar with Mission Viejo. Where are the Seventh-day Adventists? Where do they live?
Oh, that's Loma Linda.
Loma
Loma
Linda.
Yeah.
That's the blue zone.
The
That's
blue
a blue
zone.
zone, right?
Mm-hmm. It is.
That's the only. I laugh when I say that because the audience, I've talked about blue zones. That's one of the places on the planet where the general population in that area live a longer life, have better quality life. They age far more successfully than others, which is right in James's wheelhouse because he's very much involved with aging in not that just because he's aging like everybody else, but because he belongs to. I'm going to let him tell you. Tell him your connection to all of that.
Well, I mean, teaching at the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine now for almost 20 years. I mean, my whole focus has been on how do we keep ourselves in a space of being able to have a better health span, meaning how do we stay healthy as we're aging? I think it's funny when we talk about, people want to go back, like, oh, I want to have I want to be like I was when I was 20. That's probably not going to happen. But what could happen is you could be your best version possible of being 50, of being 60, of being 70, of being 80. And I think it takes, we're obviously learning more every year. The information is just explosive about, what's going to get us there. But at the same time, I still go back to, you know what, if you don't move, you gotta move. Your body, you got to get out there and walk if you're not in a very physical world now, which most of us aren't. You've got to move, and you've got to make good choices with your food. And if you can do those two things, it's a great start to a thought process of how am I going to live healthier in age with more grace, and not plaque my arteries, and not end up with diabetes, not end up with hypertension, which, of course, are all really big concerns today, especially with the whole experience of COVID and how it's heightened that awareness that people that have pre-existing conditions are more at risk.
At the American Academy of Anti-Aging, is there a division or a piece of it, or people that belong to it that focus and make the connection between aging and cancer?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, cancer is kind of one of those indiscriminate things, right? It'll attack anybody at any time. But when you look at, for example, I wrote a chapter in a textbook called Diabetes and Cancer, Epidemiologic Links and Molecular Evidence. So when you start to think about, why does someone end up with cancer? It's because your cells are there's maybe a predisposition, but eventually what's going on, and this theory's been around quite a while, is that the more inflammatory signaling I take on, the more I insult my body via environmental burden, stress, poor food choices, exposures, maybe previous drug history, the more I position my chemistry to move towards, and it could be exposures, biotoxin exposure like molds and those types of things as well. I position my body towards a chemistry where I'm not efficient at the cellular level, and that triggers damage within those cells. And that damage starts to create a signal that says, I'm an immortal cell. And that's called the Warburg effect, right? That was Otto Warburg, 1938 Nobel Prize, for how a cancer cell's metabolism is different than a normal cell's metabolism.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm so glad that you said that. You had no clue, none, zero, that you almost repeated much of what I've been saying, and I referenced Otto Warburg, and I introduced this whole idea to the audience about cancer being a metabolic disease. So you've just reinforced everything I just said. So thank you so much.
Oh, good. I didn't step in the bucket. That's perfect. It's only because we know it's true, right? When you study it, you know that this is true. And honestly, what really drives me to think about, I know we're going to talk about aged garlic extract and the studies that have come out, but what really drives me to my interest in Kyolic is the fact that it does put a regulator on a lot of inflammatory compounds that over time end up leading to dedifferentiation of your cell, which is that metabolic disease called cancer, which the evidence on type 2 diabetes and the increase in your risk is clear. It's been published over and over again.
100%. And people wouldn't put those things together, diabetes and cancer, but it's there. I didn't even get there yet. I was going to do that maybe in part 3, but James did a good job in setting that all up. Listen, that's why he's on the show. I love him. Jim Lavelle. We'll be right back, coast to coast and globally with James.
Feel tired, lethargic, or irritable? Take solace. You're one of millions of Americans that has trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. In fact, according to a national survey, 54% of adults have trouble sleeping. So what can you do about it? Take Solace. Solace is an all-natural dietary supplement formulated to support healthy sleep and relaxation. Solace can help you fall asleep and stay asleep naturally. Formulated with all natural ingredients, Solace is non-addictive and won't leave you feeling groggy in the morning. Take Solace an hour before bed and feel the calming effects of this extensively researched sleep and relaxation aid. For more information on Solace, call toll-free 877-533-7066 or visit takesolace.com. That's 877-533-7066 or take SOLUS.com. Look for Solace in your local health and nutrition store. Solace, for a good night's rest naturally.
Did you get enough calcium today? 85% of women over the age of 20 and 50% of men over the age of 30 consume less than the recommended daily intake of calcium. One of the best ways to protect your bones and joints, Bone Up provides Australian hydroxyapatite, the very same form of calcium found in the human body. However, strong bones and joints require more than calcium. Magnesium, zinc, manganese, copper, silicon, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin K, and boron are all beneficial to optimum joint function. Bone Up gives you all of these. Bone Up is the most healthful nutritional regimen for bones and joints. Ask for Bone Up at your local health food store. Or, for more information, go to www.jarrow.com for the best in calcium formulas.
This is Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garco, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by American Biotech Labs, your daily immune system support. Celsius, live fit. CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New Chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garco.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition 2020. Amidst this coronavirus and COVID-19 pandemic. James Lavelle is our guest. He's an educator for Wakunaga of America, makers of Kyolic aged garlic extract and their other family of products. James, there are more than a few studies, systematic reviews, and others, a lot of laboratory research, in vivo, in vitro studies showing aged garlic extract can have some modulatory effect, immunomodulatory effect relative to cancer. I know you didn't come on to talk about that, but I just wanted to make that as a footnote. That's not just an opinion. There's science to support that whole idea. So I'm glad you. Thank you for entertaining the that theme with me. I know you want to come on and talk about the aged garlic extract relative to some new research. So I want to afford you that opportunity.
Well, that's great. And look, in the end, what we're really trying to do is keep people from progressing from a state of being well and homeostatic, right? Like they enjoy their life and they feel well. And we don't want them to regress down the path of chronic inflammatory conditions like heart disease and diabetes and autoimmune disorders and irritable bowel. And then the progression goes even farther into that end state of dedifferentiation of cancer. So it's really important that we understand that, it's work in order to stay well and be in that state of feeling well. But it is worth it. It's worth it for you. It's worth it for your family. It's worth it for your coworkers. It's worth it for your community. And I really think that now a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people are waking up that it's their responsibility. And so I'm excited about, these studies that Wakanaga has put out because I think it's a phenomenal tool. I mean, I'm an educator for Wakanaga. I don't own stock in their company. I mean, I talk about aged garlic extract because of the continued studies that they come out with, over 850 publications in peer-reviewed journals on Wakanaga aged garlic extract. So, I mean, these last 3 studies that came out, there's actually 5 different publications that came out. 3 of them were related. That's great you're talking about cancer because type 2 diabetes is a big risk factor. And so people with diabetes will be anywhere from 2 to 4 times more likely to die from heart disease than people that don't have diabetes. So typically, you can have heart disease and not be diabetic, but if you have diabetes, you probably are going to have heart disease. It's a given because the reality is people with type 2 diabetes have the equivalent. And if they're overweight, right, that even adds to it. They have the equivalent of a low-grade infection going on in your body 24 hours a day in terms of how your immune system is already stressed out. So it's low-grade inflammation. You oxidize your cholesterol, and that means you're going to rust your cholesterol and make it plaque. And then that plaque also ends up creating, more tension inside your arteries, right? So when you're someone who is inflamed, meaning I'm under stress, I'm not sleeping well enough, I'm eating poorly, I'm not getting adequate moderate exercise, your body moves towards chronic inflammation. That's going to stiffen your arteries. And if you are diabetic, you are going to be more prone to create plaque. And so the first study showed that when they gave aged garlic extract versus placebo, and this is a study of 65 people, and they randomized it, double-blinded it, and had a placebo control to it. Basically what it showed was that endothelial function got better, and there was less arterial stiffness. So what they did was they built on these studies. So it's kind of interesting. So the first study shows, vessels are less stiff. The inner lining of the artery is more healthy. The next study they went into was soft plaque, or what's called low attenuation plaque. And they did that. They measured it with cardiac computed tomography angiography, which sounds really technical because it is. But what they're doing is looking at where's your soft plaque at, or plaque at. They looked at people that took 2,400 milligrams of aged garlic versus placebo. Now, why I'm bringing up the 2,400 milligrams of aged garlic extract? What I love about how Wakanaga does their studies is they do real-world dosing, like dosing that you and I can walk into a store and pick up. It's not like, 10 times the dose and you can't afford it. It's the real dose that you can go into a store and pick up. So 2,400 milligrams a day. What they showed, this is groundbreaking stuff. Versus the placebo group, a significant amount of soft plaque was reduced in the arteries. So my artery gets more flexible, the inner lining of my artery gets healthier, and I start to reduce the amount of soft plaque in my artery. Now, third,
That-
and I was just I actually was on it was interesting. We had a small group of docs that I was teaching, a group of 10 in California here over the weekend. Social distancing, all the correct things were done, right? And we were talking about left ventricular mass and how what happens is you're diabetic, your left ventricle tends to get bigger. It has to work harder to pump blood through your blood vessels that are too stiff. And as your heart muscle gets bigger, it becomes it becomes difficult, right? It weakens. And what they showed in this study was that when you took aged garlic extract over a period of the year, it actually reduced the left ventricular mass by as much as 1.65%. And that's that is really interesting that they went to that extent to measure the size of the left ventricle of the heart. So in addition to lowering blood pressure, reducing inflammation inside your arteries, helping with the vulnerable plaque, you also got the left ventricle to have less pressure on it, right? You don't have to pump as hard. You don't have to work that muscle as hard to get the blood through the blood vessels. So these were three.
And we'll be right back.
The latest trend to hit the store shelves has the whole country buzzing. Cannabidiol, or CBD, might just be the greatest discovery of our generation, and it comes from a plant that is not so new, agricultural hemp. Yes, after 70 years of prohibition and misunderstanding, hemp is back to help you stay healthy and balanced. Growing research is showing that we have a lot to learn from the remarkable hemp plant. Nutrient-rich products like Plus CBD Oil's Total Plant Complex concentrated products provide broad-spectrum nutrition, including fatty acids, plant sterols, cannabinoids, terpenes, and naturally occurring vitamin E. From seed to shelf, all Plus CBD Oil products provide the highest quality hemp-derived CBD products available and are offered in a variety of delivery systems and flavors to suit your needs. Ask your local independent health food store about Plus CBD Oil products by CV Sciences today and learn more about the CBD evolution at pluscbdoil.com. That's pluscbdoil.com.
1250 double.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Dr. Michael Garko, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. Michael Garco, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garca, host of Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. You can get more information about the show on my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by Jarrow Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Strauss Herbs, everything our bodies need is provided by nature. Kyolic, aging makes the finest garlic truly odorless. Celsius, live fit. Irwin Naturals, premium vitamins and supplements. 25 years of gold standard supplements. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garco.
Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast and globally, featuring Jim Lavelle, educator for Wampanoag of America, makers of the globally distributed and used for decades aged garlic extract with over 850 peer-reviewed studies on that particular product. It's probably the most investigated, studied dietary supplement on the planet. I know of no other product that's been that investigated. Remarkable. And we were talking with James about this connection between aged garlic extract and cancer. And then James brought up the idea of diabetes and how diabetes is connected to heart disease. Well, if you do the research, and just to go back, just to circle back for 1 second, just for a moment, there's a diabetes cancer connection too. Diabetes is associated with increased risk for several cancers, including colon cancer, postmenopausal breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, bladder cancers. And aged garlic extract is implicated in that you can get diabetes, cancer, and then get aged garlic extract implicated with both of those, that interconnection. So it all starts to sort of come together with those issues. James, welcome back. These studies, are these the three most recent studies?
Yeah, these are the most recent ones in May that came out, and then there's a couple other too. But I mean, I thought this was pretty groundbreaking to look at kind of the whole process of how aged garlic is helping someone. Right, makes your arteries more flexible. That means your heart doesn't have to pump as hard. Which means your heart muscle can go back to its normal size, and it reduces vulnerable plaque, which of course is the plaque that breaks off and causes things like strokes. And that's in addition to all the other benefits that I know we've talked about. Dr. Garco, we have talked about it over the years, right? About the benefits, whether it's on blood pressure, which we'll be going through the summary of studies that were reported on that. But I think it's pretty important for people to understand you've got to rage against inflammation. As we age, your immune system wants to move in a direction that creates aging, right? So you hear of metabolic inflammation, metaflammation, and inflammaging. Those are the two hot terms in the medical literature now. I didn't invent those. So your body, it tends to age faster when there's an inflammatory process going on. And so anything we can do to help, steer that in a different direction is going to be beneficial. And that's what was interesting when they looked at Kyolic Aged Garlic, is that it helps to really mediate or turn down inflammatory signaling in individuals. And so I thought that the diabetes and blood sugar folks that got studied in these 3 trials, it was absolutely amazing that Wakanaga thought to study it in this way. And then I think looking at the studies on blood pressure was incredibly important as well, because what they showed was that when they looked at the totality of all the studies, meaning we gathered all the people up, we have 550 plus people in this thing, and what it showed was somewhere around an 8.5 to 9% drop in your systolic blood pressure and 5.5 in diastolic pressure. And what that equates to is anywhere between a 16 and 40% reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. That's just on taking aged garlic extract. That's not like telling people, hey, I want you to go out and walk, 3 miles a day, and we're going to change your eating patterns, and we're going to do all these other lifestyle things. They just gave aged garlic extract, and what they showed was that blood pressure went down, and in addition to that, the microbiome improved in those studies. So where they looked at people, they showed better diversity of their microbiome, which showed that aged garlic is having an impact on your digestive health, which of course is where 70% of your immune system is in your gut.
So
again,
So
incredibly
is that
important.
study, is that a systematic review on blood pressure?
That was a systematic review on blood pressure. It was combining a number of studies together to look at all the different studies where aged garlic extract was used to study blood pressure. And it was compelling that it lowers blood pressure consistently. And then the latest finding that it also helps with managing the microbiome diversity, which of course has been connected now to heart disease and autoimmunity and Parkinson's and you name it, right? I mean, the better we can manage that microbiome, the better off we're going to be.
100%. 877-897-8255. James LaBelle, Jimmy LaBelle from Wakanaga of America, educator for Wakanaga of America. And these are all interesting. I just want to ask you as a sidebar on, do you have those studies, the citations or abstracts or the studies themselves at hand or not?
You mean right in front of me?
No. In other words, I'm asking you.
No, but I can get them. Sure.
This is my way of asking you. Can you get me those 3 studies and this review, and as well as all 4 of these studies? Can you get those to me or not?
Sure. No, I'm glad to. No problem. Easy to get them to you. They just it just released the press release on this on May 13th of this year. So this is brand new. Research, and probably the most compelling research is the studies that they did in Europe, in the European cohort. That was amazing.
Okay, so we have a caller. Is the caller still available? Yeah, put her on.
She's on.
Great.
Hi,
Morning.
Cecilia, how are you?
Good morning. I'm calling about cancer.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
Go ahead.
a two-time breast cancer. I don't identify with the word survivor, but I've had breast cancer 2 years in a row. And I wanted to talk about, I've been listening to you as a new caller or a new listener for about a month now. And you keep saying that cancer is quite a bit environmental. And I wanted to tell you that I recently went to the Seacoast Cancer Center here in Dover, New Hampshire, check in with my doctor because I had some X-rays, some new spots on my body, so I had to physically go in. I couldn't do a telehealth phone call, and they were wiping down the waiting room with so much antiseptic, anti-gel, spray. It was bothering my throat. It was burning my throat, and they were wiping off the plastic chairs every time a person got up and a new person sat down. And the lady that was screening the people coming into the waiting room, she was pregnant, very pregnant. So I'm thinking, okay, this must not bother her. So I said something to her. I said, do you smell that smell from the stuff you're spraying to clean everything with?
Hold you. We'll come back. Don't hang up. We'll get back to you. Be right back.
Wayne Elliott here to tell you about my experience with Strauss Heart Drops over the past 20 years. The Strauss Heart Drops saved me back then and changed my life forever. It's hard to describe how invigorating it is when you increase your blood flow everywhere. The Heart Drops have proven to dissolve plaque from arteries, veins, and vessels caused from cholesterol that can restrict or block our blood flow, our body's most important function. I was able to avoid open heart surgery, as was my father, and instead cleared our arteries painlessly and without chemical drugs, which, by the way, do not claim to remove any plaque or increase blood flow otherwise. Strauss Heart Drops work, I can assure you. No contraindications with pharma drugs. Strauss Heart Drops are safe, and Strauss guarantees your satisfaction with a money-back guarantee. So you can't go wrong and certainly have nothing to lose. If you've had open heart surgery, angina, diabetes, low energy, cold hands and feet, or grayish-blue skin or lips, Strauss Heart Drops are for you. Available online at powermall.com and straussnaturals.com. I promise you won't be sorry.
The ever-increasing stress and toxicity we are exposed to from our environment, diets, and lifestyles make internal cleansing a necessary part of a good health regimen. Founded in 1980, Yerba Prima was the first company to launch a whole-body internal cleansing kit. Since that time, they have continued to develop and manufacture a complete range of all-natural, high-quality fiber and internal cleansing products. By using all-natural psyllium fiber and no harmful stimulant laxatives, all Yerba Prima fiber and internal cleansing products can be used over a long period of time to ensure optimal health and regularity. With nearly 30 years dedicated to all-natural cleansing products, it's easy to see why Yerba Prima is a leader in the fiber and cleansing products category. Learn more at yerbaprima.com, YERBAPRIMA.com, or visit your local health retailer. Yerba Prima, pioneer in internal cleansing products.
Did you get enough calcium today? 85% of women over the age of 20 and 50% of men over the age of 30 consume less than the recommended daily intake of calcium. One of the best ways to protect your bones and joints, Bone-Up provides Australian hydroxyapatite, the very same form of calcium found in the human body. However, strong bones and joints require more than calcium. Magnesium, zinc, manganese, copper, silicon, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin K, and boron are all beneficial to optimum joint function. Bone-Up gives you all of these. Bone-Up is the most healthful nutritional regimen for bones and joints. Ask for Bone-Up at your local health food store. Or, for more information, go to www.jarrow.com for the best in calcium formulas.
This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com. This is Dr. Michael Garko, and you're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition on this station. If you want to find out more about the show, visit my website at letstalknutrition.com. That's letstalknutrition.com.
Let's Talk Nutrition is brought to you by American Biotech Labs, your daily immune system support. Celsius, Live Fit. CV Sciences, from seed to shelf. New Chapter, the benefit of nature's wisdom. Jarro Formulas, superior nutrition and formulation. Let's Talk Nutrition on the web at letstalknutrition.com. We're back from the break, so let's rejoin Dr. Michael Garko.
And here's the LTN health question of the day. I gave the answer yesterday, and I gave it again today. So you have the answer. It's easy to win. You win a $25 supplement gift card with the right answer. It's all good. What percent of cancers are environmentally caused? 80 to 90%? Is that true or false? Make it easy for you. I was going to give you multiple choice. I'll just make it true or false. True or false? 80 to 90% of cancers generally are environmentally caused. True or false? Here's a number to call.
877-897-8255.
Bingo. Jim Lavelle is our guest, and it's been an illuminating conversation. You hear how the research supports the use of aged garlic extract, right? Kyolic, and its safety, efficacy with respect to cardiovascular health in the way that Jim was talking about today. Truly remarkable. Is the caller still available?
Yeah, she's there.
All right. Let's put her back on. I want to chat with her for 1 minute. Cecilia, welcome back. First of all, thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening to the show. And I know you're caught up in a formidable battle. It takes a lot of courage, and I know you're courageous. So just generally ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I had cancer in my lymph nodes the second time, so I call you in my house the magician, you know. Some of us don't have electronic devices, us baby boomers that are served in the military for 20 years. You know, we just use the radio. And I happen to be a radioman.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your. Listen,
I call you the magician. You know, when I listen to you on the radio, but you know, magician has a good assistant, so I like that lady that helps you out a lot. I want to thank her for working too. You know, got to have an assistant. A magician can't work alone. But you know, they were wiping stuff down with the sanitizers and the alcohol-based products for my hands, and I asked them. I said to the lady, I feel that burning my throat when I'm waiting in the waiting room, and I feel my sinuses filling up. I said, is that bothering you? Because, like I said, the screener lady that screens people for the temperature and those questions, she was pregnant, and I'm thinking, it ain't bothering her. And she said, no, it's not bothering me. But she said, I guess I could wait till you leave to wipe off your chair. But I said to her, well, I know there's plant-based alcohol hand gel versus the other kind of hand gel. I don't know what they make it out of, chemicals. And I said, I noticed the plant-based alcohol things don't dry out my skin as much. And I said, Peral's the name brand that makes a plant-based alcohol. If I can get it as a customer, I'm sure your hospital can get it. Might you think of another product that isn't so chemically based that I'm breathing in? As a submarine sailor, I also know that when I'm indoors and I'm breathing air, unless they have a good air purifier, we're breathing chemicals, we're breathing pollution. A lot of my Tai Chi friends from China, they've been wearing a mask every time they go outside for years. It's just a normal part of their dress code,
Well, you've said a lot there. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. James, you were listening to Cecilia.
I was.
Give me your take. Give us your take. She makes a wonderful point. That one lady that was in the room, she said, "Oh no, it's not bothering me." Well, she doesn't know that. Chemicals sometimes have an effect out of your awareness. What do you make of what Cecilia has said generally? What is your take?
Well, I think, in this new brave world we're in, we absolutely have to look at the type of, sanitizers that are being used. I mean, we know the history behind triclosan and, its issues that was, as a chemical in some of the hand sanitizers that were out there in the market. And so I think it's important that, we are aware of that. And we, once again, I'm going to go back to the more we can keep our body from getting inflamed, the better we're able to detoxify. One of the interesting things about, not to beat on the drum of aged garlic, but it's a sulfur donor. One of the big things when they age garlic is it takes out all the volatile compounds, create a bunch of sulfur compounds that are water soluble, and they help your body to detoxify. And I think that's the news story maybe that comes out over the next few years is they're assessing the value of that. And so in regards to breast cancer, it's highly tied to insulin resistance. And so I'd really encourage our caller to, look at how can I start to, look at my blood sugars and try to work on lowering that blood glucose response so that, you can make cancer cells hungry instead of well-fed. So
Thank you.
That interaction between the environment and food.
Well said, Cecilia. You are in the middle, in the thick of it all with this battle, and I know you're courageous. And you were a submarine sailor. You served your country. You were a career service person, and you devoted so much. And I know this is difficult. I do, and I admire you. The COVID-19 or not, if I were up there where you lived and I was there next to you, I'd hug you. I put my mask on, but I would hug you anyway, if you let me, because I appreciate you. I don't know you, but I don't need to know your history. I know that you're what you shared, and you're it's people such as yourself that make the world a better place. And this is why I come to work every day. And this is why I do what I do. And thank you for your wonderful compliment. A magician, I don't know. Sometimes I think the tricks are being played on me, but I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for calling today. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could also spell the name of a product. Sometimes when you say
Sure.
like Gaylord garlic,
Yeah.
I don't know how to spell what you're. I don't know
Sure.
how to look it up because I don't know the spelling.
Yeah, it's spelled Kyolic. 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 Kyolic aged garlic extract. And they have number. If you go online, go to their website, you will find a number of different formulations. They have some that are immune. Aged garlic. I'll let James tell you. They're different. We're almost out of time. Cecilia, call me back. Call me back tomorrow or any other day. I want to talk to you some more. James, I love you. Thank you for coming on today, man. You're always good. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.